What's my elite gonna be? Come on. EA, do me good, do me good, do me good, do me good. Come on, give me something good. Give me something good right here. Okay, that's actually an improvement.
That's not bad.
That's a punter. That's a punter. That's
you
better.
Need that, right?
Yeah, that's better than what I have. I mean, shit, I'll take it. It's something to go towards my overall.
You keep all those?
Whew.
Right? You keep them?
Yeah.
Keep all of them?
Yeah. So now,
Let's go look.
my punter is better, and it's nice to get a punter and not spend money on a punter.
I know how rare it is to get a kicker and punter in those
Yeah,
packs.
so I'm actually okay with that. That's nice.
It's rare, right?
Yeah. Hey, punter right there. There he is. Now this other guy can go into a set. There's my two I got in the last.
What was the other
That's
one?
good. That's good. This one I got. This is the one I bought. This one.
No.
Yesterday. But this is the one I just got.
What was the other one?
Oh, compare them.
Yeah.
Right there.
Mm.
Is all that matters is kick power and kick accuracy. So Sam Martin's kick power is 86.
Way farther.
And so I can kick the ball farther. That's what that means.
His
That's all that
accuracy's lower.
matters. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. As long as you kick the ball farther.
Sweet.
So that's good. That's beautiful.
That's a huge jump.
We will take that.
Sweet, baby. Remember, you telling me it was so rare to get those.
Yeah. And then after these 16 solos right here, I'll have completed 500 solos and I get 55,000 coins.
35,000?
55,000.
Oh yeah, that's what you're saying. That's awesome.
Plus this 19,000. So I'm going to be coming up. I'm going to be over $1 million again.
Yep.
We talked about how the last two options that he could have went to, like the last two teams, well, it was three of them. It was Tennessee, Baltimore, and Browns. Tennessee pulled out, and it was only Baltimore and Browns. Those were the only two teams he could have went to, and he said, let's go Cleveland. So thank God for that, because imagine if the Jarvis Landry would have got traded to Baltimore. Imagine if we would have traded Jarvis Landry to Baltimore. I would have had a heart attack. I would have literally lost my fucking mind. Literally. All right. Oh, another thing I gotta say about this is you guys that, say, oh, Adam Gase has nothing to do with all these moves. Oh, it's the GM. Adam Gase is the head coach, not the GM. What are you talking about, Flex? You're stupid. Blah, blah, blah. Well, obviously, Jarvis Landry might be stupid too, because he feel the same way about Adam Gase making. And obviously, Jay might be stupid too, because he also is Adam Gase. So they also believe Adam Gase has something to do with these moves, okay? And it's common sense when he's the whole control center of the offense that he would probably be making these moves. Anyway, that's not what the video is about. I'm just letting y'all know. Now, this is just an assumption by Jarvis Landry, but let's say it was true that Adam Gase actually did trade Jarvis Landry to the Cleveland Browns for his career to quote-unquote die. What I would like to say is, good for him. He learned from his mistakes, okay? Don't be mad at Adam Gase, Jarvis Landry, if you're mad at anybody who traded you to the Browns, okay? I don't think Jarvis Landry is mad because the Browns are on the come up, okay? They have much to improve. We didn't trade them to a terrible Browns team. They're getting a lot better. But if you were going to feel salty that you got traded to the Browns, be mad at Jay Ajayi if you're mad, okay? We traded Jay Ajayi being nice. We traded Jay Ajayi to the Super Bowl winning champion. What the fuck he did? After he won the Super Bowl, the first thing he did was talk some shit back to Adam Gase. So, everybody said, what, we're not trading nobody else to no more good team. Y'all want to talk when we trade y'all? All right, bet. Now y'all got to go to the Cleveland Browns, all right? I mean, I personally like Jarvis Landry, and I appreciate everything he did for us when he was with the Miami Dolphins. With that being said, I don't want him getting traded to a good team. I don't want anybody that leaves the Dolphins. I want them worse off than they was with the Dolphins. Like, anybody that's the Dolphins, I'm not going to say I hope y'all career goes down, but I really don't want to see you prosper. But except for Jarvis, he's an exception, though, because I really like Jarvis. He gave everything to the Dolphins. I don't feel like he cheated us of nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's not a situation where he was taking days off, things of that nature, or maybe he cheated us, he went to another team and performed well when he was with us and was trash. I mean, the dude, he gave us everything, guys, so I cannot be mad if he prospers with the Browns. I mean, y'all ever just sit back, man, and just think, man, about the talent we have in the 2016 team and, just where it went wrong, I already made a video on it. It really went wrong when Tannehill got injured against Arizona Cardinals, man. That 2016 team, I finally saw that offense. You know, we had Jay Ajayi, 200-yard games. Travis Landry, the leader. He didn't get in the end zone much, but he would make plays and get everybody hyped. We had Kenny Steele, deep bombs. Shots when he dropped that one against Seattle. But other than that, he was nice. He was amazing. Oh man.
I did his mom's, 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 I did it, did his mom's, did his mom's, did his mom's, did his mom's.
Like that.
That's what he's saying.
Oh, I know. I love it.
Adam Gase was fresh, and we didn't know what to expect, and then we all fell in love with him, and then everything slowly started to deteriorate, and now we're at this point
It's
where
not deteriorating.
we have unknown people, and Adam Gase is on a hot seat in my mind. At least I don't know if he's actually on a hot seat, and it's just, I just hope everything works out, y'all. I just hope everything works out. Anyways, guys, get in contact. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bro, this is kind of what your boy K Flexing. I'm out.
Alright.
For the crystal many times, but I knew this moment would come. Now it's my time. I gotta make up for all them nights that my mama cried. I'm going in, I'm putting.
If you're stuck. After this game, I want to put up that Dudley Do-Wrong video of why he describes perfectly why the Dolphins get no respect.
Oh,
I agree with him. I agree with him 1,000%. He knows, he's a Dolphins fan.
I'd love to watch it with you.
And he made a perfect, video about it because this team is not trash. It's the franchise, as a whole, we are not trash. We are not we're better off than these teams like the Saints. Like the Saints have been doing well recently, but if you look at the overall franchise, the Dolphins are still better.
Mm-hmm.
But if we continue to keep losing like we are the last fucking 18 years, it won't last like that because it's time to be on the upswing.
Right.
It really started to happen when we made the new stadium in '98, I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
built on Indian burial ground.
Yeah, that fucked it up. This shit is so real. For real.
Because what we talk about is if we just suck, we would just suck. But when you see things like us making mistakes that cost the game and stupid plays, that's where the curse is at. It's not like we don't have the people.
Yeah.
This year's going to be different though.
You're right, baby.
Alright. I'm going to put it on.
Right now?
Yeah, you ready? It's not that long of a video.
Yeah, I'm ready.
because I can't put it on the TV right now. I'm hardwired in the
Well, can
PS4.
we watch it on your phone?
How? How do we watch it?
Just hold it and I'll stop. I don't know.
You can hold it.
Witnessing a medley of exhilaration, joy, and satisfaction that comes from finding a great deal on the Honda CR-V. Experience it for yourself at the Honda Summer Spec.
Let's talk about this subject.
A very good breakdown.
Yeah.
Because he said his girlfriend asked him why no one in the media respects the Dolphins.
What's up, Fin fans? Being that there is no training camp anymore, or one that I can report on, I thought of this video. Actually, my girlfriend thought of this video because she asked me a question. She asked me a question that all you guys asked me, essentially, why doesn't anyone take the Dolphins seriously? Or why are we so disrespected when it comes to the media? So I thought I would answer this question and fully break it down, because I explained it to her and she was like, that makes a ton of sense. So why not make a video about it? So we're going to start at the beginning and I'm going to break it down for you.
Philadelphia and the Cleveland Browns.
I've done this in a while, but let's get started. So
that's good. I want to watch Baker
a lot of you
Mayfield.
guys want to know, like, the ESPN, NFL Network, a lot of the beat writers, a lot of people, if that makes any sense, do not respect the Miami Dolphins. They do not respect this team. We went 10-6, and people were still like, well, can they do it again?
Yeah, it'll come crashing down.
Then we went, 11-5, won the division. A lot of people were like, well, can they do it again? So a lot of people don't respect the Dolphins, and the main reason why a lot of people don't respect the Miami Dolphins is because they have sucked for a while.
They're not consistent.
If you look at the way the NFL works, I'm going to see if I can do a graphic here. You have the top part of the NFL, which is the elites. These are teams that are always in the playoffs. They are, without a doubt, always winning the division. They are always in contention for Super Bowl, and they are always in the talks of being the greatest, dynasties. Then you have this middle section here that essentially they're in the playoffs. They'll make a wild card. They'll be in there 1 year, miss 2 years, then be in there. They're always up and down, up and down. Kind of think of the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens had a hot couple years, and then all of a sudden they cooled down and make the playoffs. And all of a sudden they came back, won Super Bowl. See what I'm saying? So that's the middle of the pack.
That's shocking.
The bottom of the pack, which
the Browns
are just teams that suck
Bengals.
constantly. Your Cleveland Browns, for the longest time it was your Saints. For the longest time it was your Arizona Cardinals. It was just this bottom section that just suck all the time. Lately, where the Dolphins have been, has been in between middle and the suck, bouncing back and forth since about 2003, 2004. Because in 2000, they made the playoffs. And then since 2000, they made the playoffs twice. In 2008 and then in 2016. So that's about 18 years, 17 years of making the playoffs 3 times. So I'm going to break it down for you and give you a reason why the Dolphins have been so unappreciated and so no one cares. No one cares about the Dolphins. Look at this. So I'll give you some stats. In 1966, the Dolphins came into the NFL. Initially, it was first the Miami Seahawks, but then that was only for about a year, and then nothing happened. So 1966, the Dolphins came into the league, and then they went 15, 39-2.
This guy won the Super Bowl
They
last
sucked
year.
under George Wilson, their first coach. Gone. So you got the 70s. You got the decade of the 70s. The Dolphins were one of those top teams in the 70s. They were ruling the 70s. Them and I think the Steelers and the Vikings were ruling the 70s, and the Cowboys. They went to They were the first team to ever go to 3 straight Super Bowls, 3 consecutive Super Bowls, first ever team. Had the AFC divisional game against the Chiefs. It's still the longest in history. They went to those three straight Super Bowls, won 2, lost 1 to the Cowboys the next year. 72, they went undefeated. 73, they beat the Vikings. You know, they won. All right, so in 1970, they won 5 divisions and they went to the playoffs 7 times. So in 10 years, they went to the playoffs 7 times. 5 times as division champions, 2 times as wild cards. So in the 70s, people were taking the Miami Dolphins extremely seriously because always in the playoffs, won 3 Super Bowls in 10 years, went to 3 consecutive Super Bowls in 10 years. They were taking them seriously.
Who was the QB again?
Then you have the 80s.
Greasy.
The 80s, the Dolphins went to 2 Super Bowls. They lost them both, one to the Redskins, one to the 49ers. But in the 80s, the Dolphins were still extremely important. They were still top of the contention. They won the division 5 times. 5 times. So again, went to the Super Bowl twice, made the playoffs 5 times as division champions. That's half of the time. In the 80s, the Dolphins were in the playoffs or in playoff contention. Drafted Dan Marino. Dan Marino set the single season record. So Dolphins were up there in the stories. Everyone was taking them seriously. Everyone was saying, Dolphins are great. This team is great. We need to take them seriously. Then you got the 90s, right? In the 90s, Shula sets the record for most wins as an NFL coach. Again, great story, top. Everyone loves the Dolphins. Dan Marino breaks career passing, touchdowns, completion yards. Again, great story, top of the thing. They won the division 2 times in the 90s, in 92 and 94. But again, the 90s was a different decade where the Buffalo Bills were kind of the elite of the AFC East or AFC Central in the 90s. So with the Dolphins winning the division twice, you would think, well, that's when their downfall started. No. In the 10 years in the 90s, the Dolphins made the playoffs 7 times. So regardless if they lost to the Bills to win the division, or they lost to the Patriots to win the division, or they lost to the Colts to win the division, yeah, the Colts were in the AFC Central. For all you young fans that didn't know, it was North, South, and Central for AFC and NFC. The Dolphins made the playoffs wild card 5 times. 5 times. So 7 times out of 10 years, the Dolphins were in the playoffs, and people took them seriously. They also had Dan Marino. In the 70s, they had Bob Greasy. Both decades, they had Don Shula. So people were taking this Dolphins team seriously. They were the top echelon. For 3 decades, they took the Dolphins seriously. Then Dan Marino retires, but we still had a great defense. We drafted Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor. We had all the, 2000, we went to the playoffs again. Then the 2000s happened, and that's where we're getting to where we're at now, right? So 2000s happened, right? We get Jay Fiedler from the Jaguars, which I like Jay Fiedler. I think he's top 4 best quarterbacks we've ever had with Jay Fiedler. So in 2000, we went to the playoffs 4 times. We won the division in 2000 and 2008, and we made it in the wild card in 01 and 2016. So I know I broke it down to 10 years, but I'm doing the whole 2000s all in one, just because we're still kind of in the thick of the 2010s. So in 18 years, we went to the playoffs 4 times, whereas in the 90s and in the 70s and in the 80s,
every year.
we went to the 90s, went to the playoffs 7 times. 7 times. And look at the 2000s. Look at the 2000s into the 2010s. We get Ricky Williams. Great pickup. Everyone's like, Dolphins are going to be great. He does great. He has the suspension and he retires. Then he's forced to come back, and that whole story. And we have Cam Cameron come in, and it went like this. It was a lot of, it wasn't like up and downs, it was ups and then downs for a while. Because we had Tony Soprano, and we won the division 11-5. We were doing great. Next year we kind of fell off, and then we really fell off, and then he was gone. We had Cam Cameron, went 1-15, we're the joke of the league. Then we had Joe Philbin. Never won anything with Joe Philbin.
No, head coaches.
It was just constant downfalls from 2001 till now. Constant downfalls. Bullygate. Always the laughing joke of the team. Bullygate. Like, we need to get back to
Bullygate.
winning. We need to get back to winning consistently.
I'll explain it.
If we want the ESPN, NFL Network, NFL.com, all these beat writers, Bleacher Report, all of them to take the Dolphins seriously, because since 2001, we've been inconsistent. The only thing we've been consistent at is being mediocre. I hope that gives you guys a good idea of why the media disrespects us so much, because I get aggravated. You can go watch that video where the guy's talking about the weapons that we have and how I think he's a big idiot because he doesn't back his facts up. But, there was a power ranking that came out. They had the Dolphins 32nd. When it comes to backup quarterbacks or quarterback situation, we're ranked first as the worst. So no one takes us seriously. We need to get back to the 80s, 90s, and 70s of the Dolphins where we were kicking ass. Always. We were always in it. Don't get me wrong, we're always in it. When it comes to November, December football, the Dolphins seem always to be in the hunt.
Yep.
But they always seem to fall out of it. So let me know below what you think. Let me know if you think I'm talking out of my ass and we're being judged the way we're judged because people just hate the Dolphins. Comment below, because you know what? I'm going to do comment of the day. This comment comes from Daniel D. This is on my video about the Dolphins-Panthers post-review. And he says, first comment to me, that was a horrible game to me. Xavier Howard was the highlight for me. Now 2 games in, how do you feel about our team? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this team because you can chalk it up to Adam Gase doesn't want to show too much. Adam Gase doesn't want to call the exotic plays that would get us scores, and essentially we are just doing what we're doing. A lot of people say, well, Ryan Tannehill's only throwing 5-yard passes. Yeah, well, look who he's throwing the 5-yard passes to. He's throwing it to Jakeem Grant. That's because the corners are playing at least 5 yards off of Jakeem Grant because they're afraid he's going to burn him over the top. So he runs up, does a curl route, boom. But he's been throwing 15-yard passes. How do I feel about this team? I don't know. It is preseason, and you try not to look too far into preseason because essentially with preseason, what they want to do is they want to see fundamentals. They want to see how players play together. They want to see who they're going to cut, who they're going to keep. The starters are barely in there. Saturday, the starters will be in there for probably the whole half. So we'll really, how about this? After Saturday, I will let you know how I feel about this team because they have to face the Ravens, who is always we're their punching bag. So we'll find out Saturday how I really feel about this team. But again, they're not going to be calling the plays that they normally will during the regular season. So we will see. I'll give you a full report 4 weeks into the season. The first quarter report you'll get from me. But that's the video. Like I said before, comment below. Let me know what you think about my take on why the Dolphins aren't getting respected by the media. Give this video a thumbs up just because one more week, and then we're into regular season, and then football really matters. Side note, I still have.
One thing I was gonna say was people, I think now really want to see the Dolphins do good. They don't want to see him.
Different at best because the Dolphins aren't a threat really. People don't look at them as a threat, and we're in the same division as the Patriots, so people get tired of the Patriots. So anytime that we play the Patriots, if you're not a Patriots fan, the rest of the league is cheering for Miami. Just to, beat up on the Patriots, because the Patriots are there every fucking year.
Right.
So they say, Miami, give them a couple losses, maybe we can get them out of the,
right,
postseason.
exactly.
And that's just how true football fans are, because you get tired of seeing the same fucking teams in there. And it's been weird, honestly, since I've been a football fan, the same teams have remained good, it seems like. You know, like the Steelers, the Giants. The Giants are a team that's always good. The Cowboys. The Saints have been good for the last 12 years. Patriots. Who else you got? You got the Eagles. They're always in contention. They may, every once in a while, maybe the Eagles don't make the postseason, but
it's really rare.
Yeah.
Right?
Then you have the Ravens. The Ravens are always good. It's always the same teams. It's because of the management, you know.
How come they don't get rid of teams that don't do good?
Well, they move cities, you know. Like the Rams were garbage in St. Louis, and then they moved to Los Angeles.
And they're better?
Now they're a little, I mean, oh yeah, they've been playing better, yeah. Different management, so. Different stadium.
Why do the stadiums have a lot to do with it?
I don't know, I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying. Just a
different
change, atmosphere, different coaches, you know. What happens though is I'm glad that we've gotten rid of the coaches that we have. But at this point, with Gase and Tannehill, I feel like Gase is not on the hot seat this year because he's brought us to the playoffs. And the last time we were in the playoffs was 08 or 07.
Wow.
So, you know, let the coach that brought us to the playoffs do his thing. Like, because you need stability. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't be cutting coaches and getting rid of all these people because they have 2 bad years. I mean, that's not acceptable, but at the same time, do you really want to go back into the rebuilding stage of like everyone learning everything, everyone new offense? You're gonna suck again.
Yeah.
And the thing is Gase has a good offense. He's an offensive mind. So
Gase is the
head coach.
Head coach. They should just listen to him.
I'm going to play a couple of these because it's halftime over on the football, and I'm watching the football and see what comes out of that.
Alright, baby. I gotta go try to poop.
Alright.
Alright.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
Alright.
Huh?
What?
My ball hurts.
Oh.
From pooping so much. You know? And for me, like, it's hurts even worse. And then pushing.
This is the show where we run you through all the Dolphins news you need to know about. Remember, guys, this podcast posts each and every single Sunday, so if you like that, please go check out the channel. We have tons of Dolphins content for your listening pleasure. Remember to support if you can. So this first news story comes from Dolphins Wire. Penalties are once again the theme for Dolphins versus Panthers. And we're really going to dive deep into this one, ladies and gentlemen. Penalties, and more penalties. This comes from Dolphins Wire again. Where the theme of the Dolphins' 27-20 loss to the Panthers. The Dolphins committed 8 penalties for 68 yards, and their setbacks doomed many drives. Last week against the Buccaneers, the Dolphins were equally as lousy penalty-wise as they committed 7 of them for 52 yards. Leading up to the game, the Dolphins coaching staff said their players needed to clean up the penalties. They even made Jawan James run a lap after he committed a false start during practice. It appeared the Dolphins still have a lot of work to do in that area. Let's see here. The Dolphins recorded only a garbage time touchdown late in the game. Jason Sanders. Okay, this is just a summary of what else happened. So focusing on the penalties, this is something that we've dealt with since Adam Gase got here. It's been a big issue. And one of the reasons I was so excited for and why I believed in the trades that were happening, not just because of the locker room issues, I think, I mean, we're not even going to get into that because we could all go down that road for a very, very long time. But one of the arguments for the trades were that Adam was going to get his guys that would run the offense more smoother, everything would work better. And so far, we're not seeing that in preseason, which is not good. Because I really did think this would be the remedy to it. It doesn't really seem that way, although we saw some of the same players on this team that were so crucial in committing those penalties. When you talk about Juwan James, Laramie Tunsil, I think Laramie led the team in penalties last season. Laramie's not, I don't think he's committed a penalty so far this preseason. Juwan has committed quite a few. But yeah, it's everything. I mean, some of the calls were so like, there was one call that was really tic-tac. I mean, the pass interference call was super tic-tacky. I mean, you see that play almost every single Sunday, and it's rarely called. I mean, I guess it just really depends on who's officiating the particular game. But some of them were ticky-tacky, but most of them, almost all of them, and don't get me wrong, were legit. So it is an issue. I mean, we can't run that stretch play to save our lives. I don't know why, but every single time we run into Juwan's side, it's a holding call. He cannot, he just can't, for some reason, play his position in the running game without holding someone. When a stretch goes his way, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. So then we're left with the question, how in the God's name do we fix it? If I'm being honest with you guys right now, I don't know. I think there's a lot of different things you could like bring it. Like, you could say, well, I mean, I guess the biggest argument would be that, I mean, I would just take some of these plays out of the book, out of the play and just in general. I think I mean, obviously it's been 3 years, so it's like trying to force a square into a round peg. It's just not going to work. I mean, you just gotta match personnel with plays, man. Some of these plays, players struggle with. Now, on some of these pass interference calls, holdings and, delay of games, that's totally different. But most of these holding calls are obviously in the running game. Some of these plays maybe we should take out of the book, like the stretch play. Even though Kenyon spun out of one, which still was a negative play, and gained, I don't know, like 30-something. It was a ridiculous play by Kenyon, but I don't know if we should take some of these plays out of the book, even though some of these are staples in this offense. When we talk about bootlegs, are pretty much dependent on the success of that particular run, because the defense flows all in one way, and then you fake it, and then you run, and then the action of the play action goes to the completely opposite side of the field. So you're not going to have a good play action game if you can't get some of those runs going. So it's a whole conundrum, guys. We need to fix this. I don't know how the heck we're going to fix it. Maybe this is just an inherent problem with Juwan James, some of the players that are on this team. Maybe he needs to get benched at some point. I don't know. Maybe we need to put somebody in there that can get the job done. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but if he's going to continue to make these kind of mistakes, then either we switch schemes and never run to his side. That might be something. Something needs to be done. But that particular play frustrates me the most. So yeah, the penalties, I really don't, I couldn't put my finger on, one particular thing other than the fact that, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, the argument for the J.J. trade, Jarvis Landry trade, and some of the other moves that we've made since Adam Gase has been here, was that he was going to get his players that could run the offense and then match personnel with playbook. So far, we're not seeing that, which is a very frustrating thing. It's frustrating to watch. Every big play gets called back. It's very, very, very frustrating. So yeah, and we're going to get to the offense at greater detail later in the show, but we have to keep going, man, because I don't want to get stagnant on some of the same things here. This next news story comes from the Finsider. A fan's perspective of the Dolphins' second preseason game. Again, this comes from the Finsider. The Dolphins had their second preseason game on Friday night in Carolina. We lost 20-27. Like I mentioned last week, the winner of this game is meaningless. These games are opportunities to possibly test out some plays from training camp and for the players to show what they got on the team at the end of the season. Collectively, as a team, the Dolphins struggled. However, several individual players made some definite impacts on the game and shine like a lighthouse. The good. There were several players to choose from, but I narrowed mine down to 3 top players from Friday's game. Ryan Tannehill has to be my first mention. I saw a quarterback come out that was decisive, accurate, and played with confidence. Honestly, watching him play and not knowing anything about him, I would have had a hard time believing he came from having a year off of major surgery. He completed 100 yards, 14 of 17 passes. I'm not going to read this entire thing because this is obviously opinion. This is by Kat Noah from NOA from Insider. I feel like correcting plagiarism at this point when you're reading this. So basically, his top performers from this are Ryan Tannehill, or hers, are Kenya Drake. Let's see here, where's the third? Ryan Tannehill, Kenya Drake. And it's taking a while to get it. I'm assuming Robert Quinn. So yeah, I would agree with that. Again, if you guys want to go read that, it feels just weird reading all that off. I should have vetted that before having it. But yeah, I do agree with that. I thought, Robert Quinn had a great game. I think he had 2 sacks. He had a few pressures. Everybody hating on my dude Robert coming in. As long as he stays healthy, the dude's one of the best pass rushers, especially 4-3. The 4-3 pass rusher is almost dead when you think about all the great pass rushers in the league right now. They're basically all 3-4 players. So Robert's definitely a unicorn at this point. So yeah, it's good to see that he still has it. And so far, again, like I said, all he has to do is really stay healthy, and he should be fine. He'll still be one of the more dominant pass rushers. Tannehill has looked sharp since the first preseason. He's been balling since training camp started. He's been balling since OTAs started. The man's on a mission. If you just watch him talk, the way you can see that he has a sense of urgency. And I think he's sick and tired of it all, to be honest with you. So, I think, and then obviously he's happy to be back. So yeah, Tannehill's kicking tail, and Kenya Drake looks like Kenya Drake. I don't know what else we expected to see out of him, but I guess it's good to, I don't know. The players that played well are not surprising. Tannehill, Quinn, and Kenya Drake, those are all prolific players and have proven it on the National Football League level. Kenya proved it last year, leading the league in rushing for those final 2 games, and then really balling out. Tannehill, obviously, some people don't think that, I do. And Quinn, obviously, what he had, I think he had almost a 20 sack season, or very close to it. And I don't think he won Defensive Player of the Year that year, but he should have. So yeah, it's good to see, though. I think the main takeaway from that is good to see Quinn play well. This next news story comes from Sun Sentinel. Frank Gore likely to make his Dolphins debut Saturday night against the Baltimore Ravens. That's basically all we're going to read from that. I thought, which is good. This is obviously the dress, if I can pronounce this right, dress rehearsal. It's very late when I'm recording this game, and it's very important. I love that it's against the Ravens, dude. I love this. It's so good that against the this team has bothered us for years. They've literally stopped us from making the playoffs 2 times out of Tannehill's career, if you think about it. They literally just smacked us upside the head a couple times on the playoffs doorstep. That and the Bills have been the monkey wrench in our plans for the last 10 years. So it's good to kind of, this is a good gauge to see how much this team has improved from last year, I feel like, and especially Tannehill. Tannehill has struggled against this defense. Well, I guess earlier in his career,